Akshara Foundation's video on fractions. If students gain a good understanding of the basic concept of fractions by Standard 5, then they will enjoy the subject in higher classes. In previous videos on fractions, we had spoken about addition and subtraction of basic fractions and equivalent fractions. In this video, we will introduce the concept of comparison of fractions. Using teaching aids found in Akshara's Maths Kit, students can now learn to compare fractions. Here's a little trick before you start. Dip these teaching aids in a little water and see how easily they stick on the board. Let us now use a circle to begin teaching students comparison of fractions. By comparing the shaded portion of each circle, students will notice that 3 upon 4 is greater than 1 upon 4. Also draw the students' attention to the denominator, which is the same number for both fractions. By comparing the numerators, they can see that 3 is greater than 1, hence 3 upon 4 is greater than 1 upon 4. You can also use fraction strips to demonstrate comparison of fractions. Take 4 1 upon 10 strips and place them in a straight line. You do the same using 6 1 upon 10 strips. Students will observe that 6 1/10ths or 6 upon 10 is greater than 4 1/10ths or 4 upon 10. Here's another example. In one strip, we have one shaded square out of 8 squares, which can now be written as 1 upon 8. In another strip, we have 3 shaded squares out of 8, which can be written as 3 upon 8. Both fractions have the same denominator 8, while the numerator 1 is lesser than the numerator 3. So it is clear that 1 upon 8 is lesser than 3 upon 8. These examples tell students that when fractions have the same denominator, the smaller the numerator, the smaller the value of the fraction. The greater the numerator, the greater the value of the fraction. It is worthwhile allowing students to try out activities using the teaching aids, because they will understand better and remember effortlessly. What happens when the denominators or the total number of parts are different? In this circle, we have 1 part out of 4 equal parts, or 1 upon 4. And another circle, we have 1 upon 10, or 1 part out of the 10 parts. It is very clear that 1 upon 4 is greater than 1 upon 10. Let us also use a real life example of a cake to show this. Raju cuts a cake into 8 pieces and offers John 2 pieces. Amina cuts a similar cake into 5 pieces and offers John 2 pieces as well. John gets 2 pieces from each of them. But who has given him a larger portion of the cake? Raju or Amina? Which portion is bigger, 2 upon 8 or 2 upon 5? It can be observed that 2 upon 5 and the portion given by Amina is greater than 2 upon 8, the portion given by Raju. Students can also see it for themselves when they fold a sheet of paper into 4 equal parts. Ask them to shade one part. The shaded part is 1 upon 4. Using another sheet of paper of the same size, ask students to fold the paper into 8 parts. Now shade one part. The shaded part is 1 upon 8. By comparing both the shaded parts, students will be able to tell that 1 upon 8 is lesser than 1 upon 4. We can conclude that when the numerators of fractions are of the same value, the fraction which has the smaller denominator is the larger fraction. Remember Amina's cake. For a quick review, You could give students more examples to help them successfully compare fractions using a greater than or lesser than sign. Learning how to compare fractions can now be fun for your students.
ಮ್ಯಾಥ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಎಂಥ ಖುಷಿ ಎಂಥ ಮಜಾ ಬಾಬಾ ನೀ ನೋಡು ಬಾ ದಿನವಿಡೀ ಮೋಜು ಮಾಡಿ